Okay, the time is now 6:30, and I call this meeting to order. And let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I got it. I already said I would do it.
Oh, you got it?
Yep.
Okay. Let's start with roll call.
Sean Peterson.
Virginia Allen. Linda Stratus. Stephen Walsh. Linda Theodore. Dan Smith. Okay. Due to Lisa Carrot being absent, actually, Kevin and Ethan are there. So it's just us tonight. Okay. So next would be citizens' participation.
Oh, missed one. Could you please pull the microphone close? We can't hear you. Everybody.
So, next is review and accept the minutes from November 19th, 2025. Do we have any questions or discussion on the minutes?
I'll make a motion we accept the minutes as presented.
There's a motion that we accept. Thank you. There's a motion that we accept the minutes from November 19th, 2025. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, now we'll go into citizens' participation. The Board of Finance wishes to promote input on any issues related to the agenda items on the current board meeting. In order to do so and proceed with the business of the board, we are asking individuals to provide their name, address for the record. We're also asking that all comments be directed to the board and comments be limited to the business at hand. Speakers must adhere to the 3-minute time.
Matt Radan, Moose Up. Hopefully comments on the upcoming budget season are pertinent to the meeting. Just had 2 points I wanted to speak to. First of all is building off of last year's budget season, there was $1.2 million appropriated out of the fund balance. One, I'm hopeful that someone will be able to speak to either any conversations or planning on how we plan to approach that. Technically a shortfall since we're not seeing that revenue again, presumably, for the upcoming year. By my own calculations, I think that would probably, in order to be an offset off our grand list, probably need a 4% appreciation or something like $60 million of an increase. So I don't have those numbers on hand. Hopefully you guys are already in the process of getting that and doing some quick math on your books. Secondly, this is a little bit further away, but it circles back down to how it impacts us here as far as revenue goes. End of last month, Federal Reserve announced, in addition to a rate cut, they're beginning their asset purchasing program again. They have a different acronym for it this time, but they're committing to about $40 billion a month for the upcoming months, maybe up to a year, of Treasury security purchases in the secondary market. So typically, we've only seen our central bank make purchases like this when there's a liquidity issue in the markets. It's also worth noting that this is going to be purchasing U.S. debt. Now, it boils down to us because there is a possible liquidity issue that does have an economic impact on collections and revenues around town, whether people are suffering employment issues or not. But this circles back down to what we think that collection rate might actually be. So you can look at that from 2 ways: where we currently stand at the year, and I'm sure that there's been updates provided from our tax collector office, but also what we're going to look at keeping the collection rate when we keep the collection rate at when we look at next year. I know we've traditionally kept it around 98%. I think that's typically been a pretty modest number to stay at. But if we are looking at a broader situation of maybe some economic instability or softness, it might be good just to put all those numbers in front of you and start really thinking about where we stand with current collections in the existing climate and looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott Howell, 35 Sterling Road, Moosa. So I brought this up in the interviews last night. So this has to do with financials. You guys are going to be going over the financials on both the Board of Ed and the town. So I read the SRO contract the other day between the police chief and superintendent. We have a revenue line that says we're going to get $127,000 in our budget. I believe it's $127,450 to be exact. When you read the contract, it says the Board of Ed is only going to pay the town 83.33% of that. So that would be 106,204. So now we've already got a $21,000 shortfall you can't recruit because you put a $127,000 revenue line on there. And then when you do the math, the school's paying for nothing except for the hours worked by the SRO. If the SRO was to work I did it 42 weeks with 5 hours of overtime, which why he work overtime in the schools is beyond me. It still only comes up to $79,800. If you do it on what the actual school year is, which is 180 days, and just for the heck of it to drive the number up a little bit for him, I gave him 12 holidays. It still only comes up to $72,000. So how did we come up? We need the superintendent, the police chief need to answer for how did they come up with a $127,000 number. And before we blame the former director, who I already got in touch with, that number was given to her by both of them, and the contract wasn't signed until August 26th, well past after the budget was done. So those are questions that need to be asked and we need answers. Thank you.
Excuse me, Scott.
Yep.
Could you repeat those beginning initial numbers? So it was 127.
The contract asks for $127,450,
Okay.
and the school will only pay 83.33%, which is 106,204.09.
Okay.
I have a spreadsheet, I'll send it all to you.
Sure, I would love to see that.
So there's a big difference. You're already 21,000 short because we're only going to pay 83%. And then the next question, I guess, would be, let's say it is the 79,800. Are you only going to get a check for 83% of that? Now you're going to get a bigger gap. You already got a big gap in revenue. You got to fix. And we're what, 4 months into the year? So, anyways, those are answers that we need.
Thank you, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak?
Good evening. I'm Kevin Cunningham. I wanted to talk to you about what they didn't have on the agenda, but we should have on the upcoming agendas, and that is where we are in the audit. I think it might be wise to ask for information from the finance director because she has been getting updates from the audit. So just a reminder not to belabor the issue, but definitely want to make sure we know where we are with that because it looks like there may be an extension. Okay.
Kevin, so you were keeping us updated on the audit? But you're not doing the audit, right? Like Kelly is doing the audit?
No, she'll be working with the audit. Kelly?
You'll be working with the audit. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, that brings us into new business, and we're going to be going into the election of officers due to a vacancy of the chairman. So do we have any nominations for chairman?
Sorry, I can't hear you because. Thank you.
Is my good?
Could you try that again, please?
I nominate Stephanie Walsh for chairman.
Did you hear me on it too? Okay, are there any other nominations? Could I get a motion to close nominations?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to close nominations for chairman. All in favor, please raise your hand. Yeah. So, all in favor of Stephanie Walsh as chairman of the Board of Finance, please raise your hand. nominations passed with myself, Stephanie Walsh, as chairman. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, since you, and now that I'm in the chair position, now we have a vacancy for the vice chair.
I nominate Sean Peterson.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
No nomination, nominating is better.
Okay. So, we'll start. Yeah, do you have a second for that, Linda? Okay. So all in favor of Sean Peterson for vice chair? Oh, sorry. Okay.
I move to close nomination.
Do you have a second? Second. Okay. We have a motion to close nominations for vice chair. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Okay. So all in favor for Sean Peterson as vice chair of the Board of Finance, please raise your hand. Okay, with that. Okay. So that passes. And congratulations, Sean. Okay. So the next is to discuss and act on the financial statement from the Board of Selectmen.
Before we proceed,
I believe we can.
and then also possibly add to the agenda. This is not a special meeting, it's a regular meeting.
Right, so
Correct.
Right.
So if we make a motion to add to the agenda.
Can't hear you,
for
Sean.
audit purposes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When would you like to do that? Would you like to do it now, or would you like to
We
wait?
would do it now.
Yeah, let's give Kevin voting rights first, right? And then
First, voting rights.
Yeah. So due to Lisa Carrot being absent, I will give voting rights to Kevin Coder who's the Republican alternate. Do you have voting rights tonight?
Oh.
Okay. Then, is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to add item E to new business, discussion of the audit.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Yes. Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Motion passed. So, we could do that right now. So Lisa, if you'd like to.
It's the last item. It's the last
Oh,
item.
it's the last line, okay.
He added it as he.
Okay, so now we're back to discussion of the financial statement from the Board of Selectmen. I first want to say thank you, Lisa. I really love this new front page. It gives you a breakdown of the different revenues and expenses.
You're welcome.
So we'll start with the board. If you have any questions on the new pages first.
Yeah, I'll go with it.
You want me to pick?
Is your plan going forward to do this every month?
Yes, and actually I've got a couple of plans I wanted to run by you, but I think the procedures. For these reports, I was asked, is it done on a historical basis or is it as is? And so when you look at the time, it's on the second, that date and time. Preference, I would prefer to do it the month prior to. Since you're meeting on the third Wednesday of every month, I'd like to do financials year-to-date as of the prior month. So tonight I would have been introducing year-to-date financials to November 30th. Because there's 4 people working these financials and things can happen in real time. In addition to that, it also gives us a cutoff point in time, but we can do a year-over-year analysis. Where for next month in January, I can say, okay, December close, here's where we are, and do a comparison year-over-year in addition to just year-to-date. But having a summary sheet, absolutely. In addition, I'm also going to add a forecast for year-end as well by department. Just in the 3-week time frame, I did it because the focus was actually meeting with the department heads so we can get budgets aligned and settled. it allowed me to actually help prepare a forecast in addition to, because I did one-on-one with every department head, with the exception of the assessor, but I went on the tour with her actually instead, so she showed me around town for a couple of hours, so that was good too. I need to get everyone's insight and feel where their energies are at, where their ups and downs are, because that'll help me get a feel for the town as a whole, to help you as a whole, for me to help the taxpayers. But yes, the idea is to do a summary and actually extrapolate more on it.
Yeah, like Stephanie said, this is very, very nice.
Thank you. Thank you, appreciate that. We're all a team, we all just want to do the right thing. And I want the transparency, and we also added the highlight of upcoming expenditures that weren't budgeted, but where they can be covered as well.
Is there any questions on the new section?
I'm sure like to talk to any of it. From public also.
It's up to you, sure,
I think it'd be nice to hit some of the highlights so some of the public can hear what's going on.
Yes, of course, absolutely. So far, at 5.5 months in, we've booked $23,942,842.31 in revenue, or representing 54.84% of the $53 million budgeted. We've also recorded almost 6.2 million of the 13.9 in budgeted general government expenses. The school department having reported 14.7 of their 39 million. So we're at a positive net position of a little over 3 million at December 16th is when the report was in. A couple of revenue highlights is interest revenue has already exceeded budget by over 110,000. That is due to the interest rates in the stiff markets and the way we have the investment done. It is on a conservative basis, but we do have excess in our fund balance. We were at 22% at the end of last year. And to speak on another resident's note, you'll see part of the budget, even though we budgeted 1.2 million, I'm going to show that we gave back over 1.7 million the previous 2 years back into the general fund. So we'll have lots of conversations, I am sure, but I just wanted to touch base because I know a resident touched base on that earlier. Back tax revenue for tax and interest and lien revenue is already more than doubled, actually. They had one large taxpayer, corporate, pay a lot of back taxes, and Karen can speak more of that. I believe she did at your last meeting, because someone else asked about that as well. No assigned fund balance included in the adopted budget has been utilized to date. Let's see, departmental expenses. Selecting legal notices, we do expect that line item to be over by about $2,500, but in June is when we typically do our line item transfers. So we might have some ups and downs on particular line items, but on a whole, we are still going to be under budget. But I just wanted to let you know that. And so anything that I see in the interim, I want to highlight for you. So just let you know that we know it's there and we understand it and we're trying to be proactive with it. Let's see, election supply and expense is currently over. And actually, I looked into this even more so today. There's a $9,000 grant going to offset this that just hasn't been booked yet. So it's even better than what's in the report. Highway uniforms and contracted services. This is an issue that wasn't acknowledged at budget time. We canceled the contract for the uniforms for the highway department, but our other contract was not yet expired yet. So there's an overlap of two contracted services. We are going to absorb it in the cost of our budget, but you will see that being over, and I just wanted to let you know that. Police overtime, the overtime is high, but we do also have 2 employees on FMLA. I'm sure the chief can speak more to that, but regular salary should be down enough to cover it. Police education is over due to a newly hired officer. That's fine, I'd rather be over by the stipend amount because they have an education. Thank you, officer, for joining us. Police SRO, speaking of which, your SRO conversation is noted, and was noted almost immediately, because in actuality, what was budgeted was 10 out of 12 months in the school budget for an SRO, a full person here at a revenue in a net, where technically the town is only going to be paying not even $15,000 for that. So you'll see that it's noted in your financials. We made a new line called SRO reimbursement. It is not revenue. The school paying us is not revenue. It's one taxpayer, and the taxpayer voted to have 1.83 SROs based upon the school budget and the town budget. So the true allocation to do it, and this is actually how I do it in my other job in East Granby, is we will budget the full cost of the police person, so you have it there, and $16.27 and change a week. and that's their salary, and that's what's gonna be in the SRO expense, and then we're gonna have the reimbursables, and that's what's gonna be billed to the school. So we just did the first bill to the end of November, because we didn't have it done, because it was a new process to even the finance office. So you were gonna see that, so it's gonna have true transparency for you. It is not revenue, it is a reimbursement from the school, which is another expense for the taxpayers. It's not revenue. It shouldn't be acknowledged as revenue, and it was voted on as 1.83 people, persons. Sorry, I'm not an English major. So you will see that, and so that has been corrected moving forward, and that's how we'll be moving and progressing with the budget for next year as well. So does that make sense before I continue on to everybody? Okay. Ask away, go ahead.
Would it be easy for you to just,
Net it?
combine? Yeah, to
I
net
was
it out?
going to originally net it, and that was actually my first thought, but then I thought it'd be more transparent to actually show what we're actually billing the school. This way you know how much the SRO officer is making, and also if there's ever a conversation, if we wanted to add, we would know the cost of both the school as well as the town in a single line item entry. But yes, I thought of that as well, but I just thought the reimbursement line was a lot more transparent.
Good enough, thank you.
That's what we're trying to accomplish this year. I think we need more of that. Let's see, as we go down, animal control, actual expenses are allocation based versus, so they've already been booked, it's kind of weird, but that's what they do. Recreation supplies, this account is projected to be short as to no building repairs. But recreation department over there in her line items, because she has a separate building, she actually budgeted for like any repairs. She had like a post come down from someone in the mailbox. That's coming out of her supply line. Most people use that supply line for, like manila folders. She's got to put building repairs in it, and it wasn't budgeted that way. She was new, so that will be short, but we will be correcting that for the upcoming year. We do not need an additional allocation for that. Naomi, I see your face.
Yeah, why is she paying for any repairs to the building out of supplies? Why wasn't that in the capital improvement or?
Well, these would be smaller amounts.
Put in.
This would be like painting, any kind of like smaller amounts. That wouldn't go to capital. There should be a building repair line for any building that you have.
Yeah, that's
why it wasn't done, I don't know, whatever past practice was. I can't speak to the past, I can only speak about moving forward, and we are gonna have a building and repair line in there. I've already met with that. We're gonna do a lot of things a little different with the rec. We're breaking it out with the rec fund, so we actually gonna show, we're gonna know if basketball's making money. We wanna know what programs are making money, and we wanna have more programs available to seniors in the rec department, but we have to make sure that we allocate it correctly. So it's gonna be a work in progress over this coming year. They grew so quickly, and the finances didn't grow as quick, and she's learning, and we're gonna make it a lot better. That's what we hope to do for her.
And can you take into discussion more of the, because I'm a little confused, with, when I actually broke it down with the lines. So, when you say the money's already been allocated, because we're looking at $7,100, let me go to it. It just wasn't making sense last night when I was reviewing it.
Yeah, that's fine.
So $7,100 for electricity, but then it says the actual $7,100 and zero available.
Correct.
Can you explain that more, like how you're doing that?
How I'm doing it is based on, it actually was done before I started. So what it is an allocation. The budget was set up, the animal control will pay whatever X percentage dollar amount of the bill. Not a true bill. I don't believe they have their own meter. I don't know enough about it. And I would prefer that they have their own meter, because one of the things that we're going to be doing is putting a new mini split in there. Part of the problem, I don't know if anyone heard, the poor animal control was down to 50 degrees. They were freezing out there. There was wind coming in. We had those crazy cold weathers, and the new mini split couldn't keep up with it. So we actually had to have an emergency quote go out to see how much we could do to have heat. The dogs are cold, but no, our staff is cold. It's not right. And there's state laws that require us to be at a certain percentage. I can't speak intelligently about that because it's not my area of expertise, but I know enough that I felt bad for the lady when she came in and was like, I'm freezing, it's 50 degrees and the wind's coming. So it would be nice if we could get the meter so we can do it. Because I know before they were on a propane heater, which I would imagine that would be more money, but I don't know. And so, going back to your question, it was a budgeted allocation. The reclass was already done, so it looks like their budget is expended for the year, and that's into December 16th.
Okay. So if they require anything more, they're just gonna have to come to the or?
No, they're done for the year.
They're done?
They're done, that's it. It's a year-end allocation.
Okay, I got you now.
Yeah, there will be no additional expenses for utilities for animal control for the remainder of the year.
Thank you.
So, and if I talk too fast, you can laugh at me. Do you remember like those old recordings when you used to play back on your answering machine? My mother used to say, Lisa, I had to rewind yours like 4 times to figure out half of what you were saying. So I take zero offense, and I say this when I teach you, to say, can you stop? Can you slow down? What was that again? So by all means, please stop me, because I do have a chance to just keep going. Let's see. We did rec supplies. Rec computer, $2. Oh, dear God. So we'll do a line item transfer, $2. Vehicle expense, that'll be reclassified to the appropriate line. It just looks like she coded something to a line item that didn't have a budget, so that's an easy fix. General insurance and workers' compensation, it looks high year to date, but that's because the January 2nd invoices were already paid. I signed off on those last week. Those were over $50,000 each. That's pretty typical. Capital, list of expenses, they've all been reconciled. You guys had questions, why are we over budget at the last meeting? It's simply because all the expenses that came in this year were put in this year's budget, and it didn't go back to what had already been allocated for the previous 2 years. So we just did a reconciliation of it and put it in appropriate years. So,
Can I ask a real fast question?
Go for it.
We can backtrack up to the Compton GI.
yeah.
Why are those not put in the prepaid and then expensed out monthly, or are they?
They're not prepaid. It's one. Once again, you and I had this conversation about 10 minutes ago. Municipal budgets are not done on a month-by-month basis. So if it was a month-by-month, then yes, it would be prepaid and expended out. But Karma, if that's the company that we use, they have 2 payments. They do one in July and one in January, and it covers the 6 months.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Postage, no expenses have been recorded today, so we'll have to look at that. I can't answer that right now. We know there's postage at, what, 77, 78 cents a whack? There's postage. Let's see. I skipped it. MRSA funds, that will be used to cover our truck lease payment. We had a highway truck that had a 3-year lease, $100,000 for the first year, 82 and change for year 2, year 3. Year 3 being this year was not budgeted, so we're going to use the MRSA funds to cover it. MRSA is $144,000, and so we're going to use that to cover it.
Are those funds in already?
The MRSA funds, yes. They're like split up, it's like broken into 2 or 3 typical state payments. Actually, the revenue will tell us if the MRSA revenue is in.
That's what it looks like, that's why it's
Yeah, because their revenue is good. No, MRSA revenue hasn't come in yet. But that state, what happens is when the governor does a 2-year budget, and then CCM, they give you a state breakdown of your aid. And so that's already been voted on by the governor. It's just a matter of time when it comes in. And it could also be a matter of booking in my office too, because they're a month or 2 behind. That'll change too. Let's see. Household hazardous day exceeded, because you never know what you're going to get. I'd rather people come in and give us more of the household hazard, and it costs us a little more, and we can do that in one time transfer. It wasn't that much more, so. Let's see. Current unbudgeted financial impacts. Animal control facility. As we talked about the heating facility, we'll be able to take care of that.
That was a new unit, wasn't it?
It was brand new. Yeah, it was a new unit.
Did we put the wrong equipment in?
It worked fine for the summertime for the AC, but when we turned on for the winter, there was a breaker that actually broke down because there was a power failure up there. It tripped the breaker, and it also reset all the controls to a lower temp. They fixed the lower temp, but then they realized it still wasn't going to be enough in these low temperatures we had lately. So we are actually swapping it out for a higher processing unit. Instead of a...
When was that put in?
That was put in this past spring, I think.
So we didn't get one that went to low enough temperature?
Right. It was advised to us to go with this one. We did. It's not working.
Also, that building, whoever does our capital projects really needs to take a look at that building. There's no insulation. There's open doors coming in and out. There's no, normally in the entranceway you have a breezeway, and that usually stops the cold air. There's none of that. It's door open, and here's the 10-degree temperature coming in that small area.
And those are runs also for the dogs, and the dogs are open to that temperature all the time. And so that was never thought of when we talked about the size of the unit.
And hopefully, if they do replace the unit, which sounds like they are, then we can reuse it in another part of the town hall. So that's the goal. We'll see if we can get that accomplished. Highway department, sewer pipe break, not fun, guys. Highway department doesn't have a bathroom except going to the rec center. I can't speak, Kevin can probably speak more to that, or the highway guys. So it was those clay sewer pipes, and whether some ran over it, the cold weather, just age, it collapsed. And we have to fix it. It's sewer. You know, it's gross.
Right.
It's gotta get fixed.
Instead of a small area that we're gonna fix, we're gonna fix the entire line. So do it once the right way in one shot. So we'll work on something with the the highway department to see if we can get them situated. It could take over a week to get it done. In the meantime, I have to find a way for the guys to be accessible to the bathrooms. And in the meantime, we'll put a porta potty up there for now.
Does this go up for RFP?
It's an emergency. It has to get done because there's no place for those guys to go.
We have to provide a bathroom.
Can the town crew do that work, or does it have to go out?
It has to go out because it's all plumbing for our local plumbing company that does it for us.
Will you present us with whatever the bill is before it's paid?
Before it's paid,
Yeah.
I will try to do that, but I want to make sure that they get it done. So, yeah,
Okay, good. Or at least
a copy as it comes up.
something, yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
OSHA fines, OSHA came back, I don't know what month, and most of them have been resolved. So what happens, they come out and they say you can't have this electrical cord, or this needs a light, and, you know, nitpicky. They're doing their job. That's what they've got to do because they have to raise money too. So they came out and they gave us a report. Kevin just got it on Monday. Nice thick report. And what you have to do is you have to have a conversation with them of how you've mitigated all of these things to get your fines down. So I haven't spoken with all departments. I think you have a meeting next week with them and can speak more intelligently about that at the time.
I did have a quick meeting with those departments who were visited with the documentation that OSHA gives out saying here's all your issues. We had a quick meeting, but we're now going to have a consultation meeting with OSHA on Tuesday. We already tabbed all the things that we have for fixes. Most of the things have been fixed already with, they say it needs an eye wash area. So we take a picture of that area, we're going to put the eye wash, and then after the eye wash is in, you take another picture of it so you show that you've remediated the issue. So Tuesday, for any other questions any of the departments have, we're meeting with OSHA online and be able to resolve all the rest of the issues. And I can fight the fines. I can just say, okay, these are all fixed, there should not be any fines.
Is there a particular department that?
Every department except for the police were gone through with OSHA. Yep.
And found in violation at some level?
There's all different levels of violations.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
They're always going to have something.
They're going to justify their job, so they'll find something.
Yeah.
And I'm almost done, guys, sorry, everybody. In the last planning and zoning, their HVAC unit is failing, it's making a funny noise, and he's having a hard time, so that might be where the animal control unit goes to.
And just to say one thing, you heard 3 things that broke down, all of them happened this week. So
Yeah, they all have them this week.
Comes in threes.
Well, it's been cold.
Yeah.
It's when you're going to have these problems.
So they all happen this week, and they all happen during budget meetings, so it's great. They just, at least they're Kevin, so. But they are not going to be covered, we believe, by the MRSA funds, the $144,000. So it's not like we need to do or ask for an appropriation from the board. And besides that, overall, per financial performance and anticipated adjustments, we continue to project the town will end fiscal year under budget. So as I said, next month I will have a full year out projection for you, but the town we're looking for. Any other particular questions?
I guess my question would be, when we talked earlier, you had mentioned that you're looking at updated software for the finance department. When are you looking to put that in? Anytime soon, within this
Well, I mean,
year?
no matter what I do, it's going to be a 6 to 9 month lead time anyway. So I reached out to 4 different vendors just to back up for the public. This software is over 20 years old. When you run a report, it's a preview or print only. There is no drill downs. And when you do a general ledger inquiry, like what goes to contracted services, it doesn't even show you who the vendor is. It says AP number 1051. Who the heck is that? You know, you're trying to do budget things, so it only shows different AP numbers. In addition, furthermore, software is so antiquated you can't even double click on it to drill down and get a copy of the invoice. So I'm accustomed to working with SQL Server or let's put it this way, QuickBooks would be better than what we have right now. So I reached out to 4 different municipal vendors. I've spoken with 2, getting highlights, getting contracts. It'll be anywhere between, 40 to 70,000, so it isn't a small ticket item. But I think we need the transparency for budgeting, because I'd love to be able to do my presentations, show the reports online, and when you say, hey, what is this? Double click on the line item, and then double click to show you a copy of the invoice that actually you signed off on it. And that's what I want to do. And I think that's what we need to do. And we also need to do it for the audit. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself because I know that's item E, but again, today, the auditor emails me and Courtney with another laundry list of stuff that they want. They didn't ask for it. They did it last week. They did it again this week. It's like, why didn't you ask for this? You knew when the previous finance director was leaving. My day had to completely stop everything that I was doing to get the report to the auditors. Granted, it was done by 3, but it's not at the 11th hour. We shouldn't be presenting financials. We shouldn't be asking for copies of general ledger entries right now, in my opinion. So just something to keep in mind. I know you guys do vote on and determine who is the auditors moving forward, but I'm going to speak for you, Courtney. We highly recommend that you do an RFP for a new auditor. So, but back to auditing software, I'll let you know when I have something. I have nothing concrete at this time. I'm 3 weeks in the job.
You're doing great. This is fabulous.
Okay, we're going to move forward. We're going to make things happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Am I excused now?
Any further questions?
Does anybody have any questions on that?
Yeah, the rest of the financial statement?
So how much of an overage was that uniform contract?
I think it's going to be about 14,000. Those guys are going to look great this year.
I had one for the police education portion. Over by how much?
It was like a second, I want to say it was like 400. It's in there now.
It was 4.
It was $400.
The new officer came on.
Yeah, that's the new officer. As I said, it's not a bad thing.
Back to your reports. Can you pull one, you can only pull your reports on the date that you're pulling it, you can't go back and say, I want a report.
Oh, no, I can. That's what I'm saying.
Date?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. For next
Okay.
month, I'd rather present, month of December.
Yeah.
This way we have a point in time to reference.
Perfect.
I love that you'll be able to reference year after year. You do it like that.
I have a question on the wood chipper, the 90,000 wood chipper. That hasn't been purchased yet?
It's not only purchased, but it's coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
So then we'll
And
update.
once I get the invoice, I can't,
Right.
crystal ball doesn't allow me to put in invoices.
Do we know where that came in, bid-wise?
A little lower than I think it was 83.
I honestly don't know.
I think it was 83 something.
We got enough to cover.
Yep, enough to cover.
And, the evidence building, is that completed yet or not?
I don't believe so. When I got a tour from the chief, it wasn't completed. There was still electrical work that needed to be done.
Okay, so that's been, there was money appropriated, when is that, scheduled to get completed?
I would ask chief.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mr. Commissioner, I honestly don't know that answer.
All right, I'll, thank you.
Any more word on John Muir Bridge?
Yes. I'll speak on that more on Monday, the Board of Select meeting, because it's not only just that bridge, but it's every bridge in the town that I'm doing an assessment on.
How will we get close that bridge?
We're looking for that assessment to find out if we have to close it or if we can put stop signs instead to slow down the deterioration.
So just don't call the same bridge company from Providence.
Oh, no. We have a local company which is helping us out.
Assessment vehicles, that come yet? Or how are we doing on that?
That's not supposed to come until either March or April.
March or April.
I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
She needs it too.
No, I have a question, it's not actually directed to Lisa, it might be, it's directed to somebody. I don't understand, where are our department heads, are they supposed to, are they showing up by invitation only? Let me just back up and explain myself. Lisa just made mention that there's nobody here from the police department. And, I was at the rec building this morning and just happened to Beth walk by and I said, oh, I'll see you tonight. And she made a comment that, she was only required to attend once a quarter, so that she wouldn't be here until.
It's typically not mandatory for the department heads to come to a Board of Finance meeting. If they need to do a budget presentation, or if you have a specific question, or if they need to present something, that's typically the only time that they come in. Because otherwise, they could be asked for comp time, they could be asked for overtime, depends on how people are paid. It's usually not part of their schedule to come in. And also they have unions that represent them too, and you can speak more of those contracts. But usually they're asked to come, not required.
So anytime we have a question like that, it's just gonna get tabled?
Well, if you ask the question pertaining to a department, I would ask that you would give us the questions, like I'm taking notes tonight, but if you have a question in particular that you want to have answered, just email us and I can share that with the department head and they can get back to you.
The idea is you will have this before the night of the meeting, but I didn't know who I was giving the information to, as well as it wasn't quite prepared yet, so, you know.
And, correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's something we really feel we want to address with the department head, we can request for them to be in attendance at the meeting.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So just to clarify, there isn't any kind of, I'm supposed to show up every quarter? Yeah, okay. I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Any further questions?
I'll make a motion to accept the town financials as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to accept the town financials as presented. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion passes. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
The next one is to discuss and act upon the financial report from the Board of Ed. Tim, if you'd like to give that presentation first before questions?
Okay, sure. Mr. Benson's not available to make it tonight, so I will be presenting for the financial statements for the school side. So in your packet that you have for the object summary report for the school side, there's 3 areas that I want to draw your attention to. One is listed in the report, and the other 2 are areas that we're just keeping track of. So the first one is the tuition account code. So you'll notice in the object summary report that object is 560. So that tuition account covers all of our out-of-district placements for special education students. It also is where we get our excess cost grant reimbursement, and that's where the reimbursement goes to. And that we actually did receive notice today about the dollar amount that we will be receiving. That number can fluctuate. We do submit our calculations on December 1st. The state uses all the calculations from all the districts to give a preliminary percentage that we're getting reimbursed. So that is an area we are projected to receive just over $50,000 less than what we budgeted. This can fluctuate from December until March, so we will know more information once the March 1st submission gets submitted. Any questions on that? And then the two other areas that I want to draw your attention to are the first couple lines on the object summary report for our salaries. Right now we do have some vacant positions, a couple of them being paraeducators and special education teachers. And we're also keeping an eye on our substitute teacher line because of those vacancies. Right now, because of the vacancies, we are projected to have a budget balance remaining. That is an area depending on when people are on leave, and who we hire and when we hire, those numbers can fluctuate as well. And then the last object that I want to draw your attention to is for our maintenance and repairs. In your packet, actually, there is a quote from New England Mechanical, or MCOR Services. So this, just like the town side, we have experienced some issues with our heating unit, specifically at our Shepherd Hill Elementary School building. The unit that is on the rooftop that heats the cafeteria is down. So right now, we are monitoring the temperature level in the cafeteria and making sure that it is at an adequate level, but the unit does need to be replaced. So the quote here that we received from New England Mechanical, we did have to get an updated quote because the date that is on this quote was preliminary to when before it broke. So I do have a new quote dated December 10th, I believe, that I can share with the Board of Finance, and the total for that is $54,798. So the Board of Education is requesting to the Board of Finance that we are able to use our 2% set-aside balance to cover this unexpected expense. In our report, our 2% set-aside account balance right now is $51,197.59. Due to the quote, we have submitted the quote for approval because it is an emergency service. We do need to have heat in our cafeteria. There is a 2-week lead time to get the unit in, and then they obviously will do the work. As long as there is not 2 feet of snow on the roof, they are able to get a crane and get it replaced quickly. So depending on when the invoice is paid, that account balance could change due to the interest earned, but again, we are requesting to the Board of Finance that we're able to use those funds to cover that capital expense.
How's that going to work with school?
What's that?
How's that going to work with the kids being in school?
So they are able to do it either after hours on the weekends, or if we can try to coordinate on either an early dismissal day or a day where kids are not in school. New England Mechanical is a vendor that we have worked with for a very long time. Our facilities director, Paul Kadelsky.
Your quote says 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Yep. So they have ensured our facility director that they are able to do the work safely, not when kids are in the building.
Okay.
Kids are gonna be gone, what, Friday?
What's that?
Kids are gonna be gone on Friday, aren't they?
Yeah, but there's a 2-week lead time to get the unit
They'll be
in.
back to school by the time the kid shows up.
So depending on maybe the holiday in January, depending on when they can order the crane to come in. So there's a lot of coordination that goes with it, but our facilities director is on top of it to try to get it done as quickly as possible. And from our object summary report, you can see for our capital improvement account balance, we do have $31,000 that has not been spent in that object code. So since we only have 51,000, just over 51,000 in our 2% set aside, we will be able to cover that extra couple of thousand with our general fund.
How's that going to affect the rest of the school year?
You mean for the capital improvement account line? So the capital improvement account line, we do monitor that line throughout the year. Some of them are planned projects that are due to safety that we have to do quickly in the year. Others are projects that we plan for later in the year. So depending on where we stand budget-wise, there are some projects that we could push off and put in the budget for next year to use those funds to pay for the repair now. Anytime there's an emergency repair, and to be honest, there's actually been a couple other smaller repairs, not necessarily capital improvement, like Lisa said. If they're smaller repairs, a couple $1,000s, couple $100s, that are unexpected, we choose not to do other projects and use funds for repairs.
Could we get a copy at some point of the updated quote?
Absolutely. Yeah, we received it and emailed it to the Board of Education, and I can absolutely share that tomorrow via email.
Are you looking for a motion?
Yes, I am looking for a motion for the Board of Finance to approve the Board of Education to use the 2% set-aside account. The funds that are in this account are prior to the new legislation that states that we have to have Board of Education approval and Board of Finance approval to use the funds from the 2% set-aside account. So we did receive Board of Education approval in our December 10th meeting, and now I'm looking for the Board of Finance approval.
Courtney, what's the actual amount? 51,000?
$51,157.59.
So that should be in the motion. Yeah, that should be
Yes,
in the motion.
but I just want to note that if the invoice is not, that's the balance as of November 30th, because we're earning interest in that account. So if the invoice is not paid until after January 1, that account balance is going to be a couple dollars difference. So I would like to
Expend the full amount.
expend the full amount from the 2% set-aside account balance to fully expend that account, and then cover the remaining extra amount using our general fund.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to allow the Board of Education to use funds in the set-aside account to cover the improvements, the replacement of the unit in the cafeteria.
Second. All in favor? Please raise your hand. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Any objections?
Wait a minute, so now that's gonna, the set aside only covers a portion, we need to also approve the money that's in your, that we don't.
No, it will just come from our budget.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I get clarification on that. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, I appreciate that very much, thank you.
Motion carries.
Yeah, Madam Chair,
I'm sorry.
if you don't mind, I just want to interject just for a minute on this item. Just to do it properly, normally you would have it to be added to the agenda as it is an action item.
Could we add it to the agenda now?
You could do that now.
Let's do that. Add it to the agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor, please raise your hand.
So what would you want to classify that as? B1 or B2?
C1, under Financial Board of Ed.
C1? Okay.
Now we
That would be, okay. Do I have a motion
to expend the full amount.
to expend the full amount of the 2% set aside for the Board of Education?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any abstentions?
I'll still abstain.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else?
Nope, unless there's any other questions regarding the financial report.
I just want to make sure anyone has any questions before we make a motion.
I don't think of any questions, definitely given the fact that being a new member, like we got this.
Yeah, that's okay.
Going forward, it'll be taken care of, so.
You have a maintenance report, anything major there you have to be concerned with other than I'm sorry, you have a maintenance report here, some stuff at Shepherd Hill, obviously, Houston Elementary, Plainfield Memorial, Plainfield Central, and some stuff at the high school. Is there anything here we need to really be concerned with right now?
Nope.
That we can go into?
During the month of November, we did complete our indoor air quality inspections. Those are required to be reported to the state by December 31st. Mr. Falkowski did a great job working with all 5 buildings, getting all the checklists completed. They are posted on our website under the facilities tab, and we have completed the forms with the State Department to complete that process, which was due December 31st. But other than that, the Shepherd Hill was the largest repair that we've had to drive our mental attention to.
Can you discuss a little bit, I was going to have any questions, but
Okay.
the state opioid response grant, can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a grant that we have received in the past. The grant application was completed and we did receive $5,000 for this grant. And this grant will mainly be used, we are planning a back-to-school bash health fair, which will be happening over the summer. So we'll be able to use those funds for training, for our staff, and also for that fair table to educate the community.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Make a motion to accept the Board of Education report as presented.
Second. We have a motion to accept the Board of Education financial statement. All in favor, please raise your hand. And motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next line is discussion to establish a Board of Finance bylaw committee consisting with 2 to 3 Board of Finance members for the purpose of reviewing, updating, and recommending revisions. These members will be appointed by the chair, and I would now like to ask for any volunteers to be on this committee. Please raise your hand if you'd like to volunteer. I will now appoint Linda Fedor and Naomi Smith to be part of the Board of Finance Bylaw Committee. Thank you for your dedication. Next is discussion and update on the audit.
I don't think we have much except unfilled answers. First week asked him, where's our status? Looking to go through it, review with the numbers. He said, let's meet on Monday. I said, great, let's meet on Monday. I go, but are you ready? I looked at the items. They give you a website to log in. And all the open items have all uploads that haven't been touched since the beginning of October. So Kelly did put all that information in October, and the auditor did not look at it and wanted to meet with me on December 1st, but then couldn't and rescheduled because it wasn't done yet. And since then, Courtney and I have been getting weekly love letters asking for new things, saying we're stopping what we're doing and giving it to him the day of. We did tell him point blank that we did not want an extension. His line was, well, Plainfield always has done an extension. My line back was, just because it was done that way doesn't mean it's always going to be done that way. I go, we do not want an extension. What we need to do to get this done. And pretty much mumbles.
Yeah. I have received a couple emails since that meeting, that virtual meeting, December 3rd. And since then, they have put some new audit requests on the portal and also some new requests via email. Like Lisa had mentioned, one came in today. I think both of us are dedicated, and as soon as we get that audit email, we stop what we're doing, we complete the audit task because we understand that we would like to get it done as quickly as possible, but getting requests on December 17th just doesn't ensure that it's getting done as quickly as possible.
Does their contract actually have a specific date?
State law does.
And what is that?
OPM is that the auditors have to file 6 months after the end of the fiscal year. So they have to file by the December 31st.
Okay.
Otherwise, they have to file an extension.
Thank you.
So you provided all the information to them, they chose not to look at it since October.
That is what I see in the portal. Can you confirm that as well?
Yep.
Is there a way to put pressure on them for not doing their job at this point?
I believe you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did send an email out to them saying that we are not going to do an extension. And since then, we've received emails and portal updates.
They absolutely know that we are not happy.
Okay.
Is this the last year of the contract, or are they
Yes, it
contracted
is.
for 1 year?
Okay, and we had started discussions about possibly going out on RFP for a new auditor for next year. And hoping that, I know you're new, I'm hoping that you have some insight also in possible resources. Because it seemed like for a long time we were told this was the only auditor that would touch us. At least that's what I always interpreted. So I'm hoping we can find something else possibly if it's time for something new.
I deal with 5 auditors last year alone for 5 different towns. We have contacts between the two of us.
Okay.
And Sean, if you don't mind, I think it just means that it's going to be harder to find someone who wants to take on Plainfield because we have all these extensions year after year.
Right.
So that 5 may end up being, if we're lucky, 3.
Right, exactly.
Right. I understand. They don't necessarily want to do it. But unfortunately, now we're in a position where we were probably not going to need an extension, but we're being forced to have an extension because they're not doing their work. So this extension is really their fault.
Actually, he did highlight saying that the note that we had prior about the Board of Ed and the town not balancing, that has been rectified. So that is one good thing. He did say he will not have an audit note due to that. It was Courtney and her team got that together. So that was a great highlight to hear. I want to see it in writing, but it was a great highlight to hear.
Can they be sanctioned financially? No.
Not in the contract.
Just like almost all municipal employees, it's like trying to find a building inspector. Audit companies are having trouble finding staff as well. So sometimes a lot of them are doing extensions in addition, or they're hiring new people. I can't tell you how many times I've met people straight out of college and, where they worked in other states and the terminology is different from one to the other. So they have the same, woes that a municipality has trying to find good help.
Didn't they just get bought out or merged with another company?
Emerged, now called CBiz.
Yeah, so now they've got that other dynamics they're trying to work with too. I'm sure that makes it difficult.
But within the contract, there's nothing stating that if they fall short of coming in on time, with no
Nope.
fault of the town?
Not typically.
Can we put that kind of language?
No, because I would say you can't because it's a two-way street. You could have, not to say that you would be doing it, but you could have a problem on our side of it. So that's why they don't do that.
When are we going to start seeing possibly other auditors that we could start discussing for next year?
You need an RFP.
When do we need to start thinking
We'll be
about
working on an
this?
RFP immediately.
Okay.
Because you have to vote on it by
I don't want to
June
drag our feet.
I know.
We need to get started on it and figure out.
June 30th. It has to be done before the beginning of next fiscal year.
Okay. So is this something we're going to start talking about by next meeting, hopefully, or the meeting's out?
Yeah. There's a lot of work we're doing right now, but
I understand.
I promise that we'll be working on it immediately.
If the Board of Finance would like us to do an RFP, we'd be more than happy to oblige.
Yes. I know I would.
Absolutely.
I just don't want to speak for them because they're the ones putting it together.
Well, I guess maybe the better question is, do both of you feel it would be wise for us to request an RFP at this time?
Absolutely.
Then yes, absolutely, I'm all for that.
1,000%.
Okay.
Is that something we would need to put on an agenda, the motion for?
You have to vote for the auditor eventually.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
we
your
don't have to
decision.
vote for the RFP.
But you're collectively asking us to put it together now.
Oh, that's good enough. Okay. Thank you for putting pressure on our current auditor.
I wish we had better answers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gordon. Yeah.
would now be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion to adjourn, all hands in favor?